your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will want. His wanting is our will in this finite. Don't force us to hurt you. He's just like Purge. Too many standards.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
I believe we are ready for another Purge of the BS. Special shouts to Al Bond and IAMZ mods showing up nice and early so I can get this over with. I thank y'all. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. This is YouTube. You hit the like button, you subscribe, you jump in the chat, we have a conversation. So, let me make sure my levels are good. Let me get a thumbs up. Any one of my mods, let me know that my sound is good. Y'all can hear me and I can hear you. Well, not hear you, but see you. Why is my color changing like that? It's weird. But anyway, so today we got a couple of things we got to get into. Just letting you know, we got to get into our Dirty Rotten Scoundrels episode. We're going to talk about the Dirty Sanchez, Mr. Mark Sanchez, among other things. The new AI music takeover is here. If you didn't know, I'm gonna show you today. We got a quick question about an upcoming holiday. We're gonna discuss that as well. And we're gonna also discuss a young lady who decided to try to take out all four of her kids. It's a rough one, but we gotta purge this BS. So once again, thank y'all for coming on in here. This applause is for you. Let's get this thing going. For all the people that's late, that come in late, that's cool. I know how the algorithm been working. Hopefully today it does a little bit better. I'm not really sure why the screen keeps changing me from my beautiful light brown hue to this bluish brown hue. I don't know. There must be some nightlight function on it. I must have accident. So y'all just gonna have to deal with it. I gotta deal with it. We gotta deal with it together. So nonetheless, bring up my multi-chat. Make sure I got my folks in there. All right, guys, you know I'm not going to give it too much extra time with all of the waiting for everybody to get in. They'll catch it on the replay. As long as I got one or two of my mods in here, I'm always ready to roll. So let's just get into it, man. Let's get into it, man, because a lot of people might not be ready for what's coming up, all right? But because I had done some posts about AI, the new AI programs like Sora. I don't know if you know the Sora program, but the new AI programs are getting pretty damn realistic with the graphics, right? And now they've started creating music, remixes, and things like that with the AI. So yesterday, Mr. Curtis Jackson, also known as 50 Cent, or Fitty, for those that are from the city, he decided to put out a remix of, I believe it's 21 questions, as a, like, old, I just have to let y'all see it. I'm just going to have to let y'all see it. You're going to have to prepare yourself for it. It is what it is. Let's see what we got here. All right. So this is Mr. Curtis Jackson. Let me make sure my shot is correct up top. Yeah. Oh. Okay. AI remixes. Damn border is way off now. Okay, here it is. There's the border. And there is Mr. Curtis Jackson. Okay, so Mr. Curtis Jackson has decided to release the In the Club AI remix. Now, I'm warning y'all right now, if you haven't heard these new AI remixes, we in trouble. That's all I'm gonna tell you. We in trouble. If AI can make decent music, we're not gonna have a need for actors. We're not gonna have a need for musicians. We're just gonna need people that know how to put in good prompts. Crazy. Check this out. We in trouble, yo. We in trouble. I had to stop it there. I don't even know if it's copyrighted. But we in trouble. Because that sounds like a whole group actually just doing a cover. To me, that sounds like real people in the studio. Singing. Live instruments. Crazy. Can't tell me that's not rocking. That's not rocking. It is what it is. They're gonna redo everybody's music. Get it. You get it. And 50 Cent himself. This is not a game. Like, this is not somebody that just put it out and said something about it. No, actual 50 Cent, also known as Fitty, if you're from the city, said himself, you know what, I'm going to redo all my albums like this and basically get paid twice. Because some people would like to hear these weird AI covers. I only call it weird because it's digital. And it's weird to me that the rhythm and the sounds would be smooth and have some soul to them like that. I don't know who taught that AI. Must have been somewhere in the South. Must have been one of them hubs. Wasn't out in the Bay Area out in California. You don't teach that kind of soul in Cali. Just saying. And in addition to Mr. Cent, in addition to him, we also have a new Drake remix that I want y'all to check. Telling you, it's out of hand, man. So I'm playing it because I'm just letting you know, if you're a musician you better get with the AI. Just get with the AI, input all of your old stuff so it gets a feel for your voice, your flow, and just start making digital music, because you can't compete with something that can crank out music faster than the human. Like, if it's actually decent music, you can't compete with that. So what you got to do is you got to get your own method to be part of that system. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Listen up. And this is the Drake Chicago freestyle, 1960s soul AI version. Joint just hit yesterday and is already making waves. Check this out.
2:30, baby. Won't you meet me by the beam? Too early, maybe later. You can show me things. You know what it is whenever I visit. Windy city, she blowing me kisses. No, 30 degrees. Way too cold, so hold me tight.
It's over.
Hey,
You rock with it though.
truck to
Don't
the
feel
place,
bad.
truck to the hotel lobby. Me, I go to underground garage. Presidential suite on deposit. Elevator up to the room. Shower up and then we hit the club. Touchdown, gotta see what's up. Area code in my phone. What number do I still have? Who do I know from the past? Hit one, she said she got a man. Hit another one, it goes green. Must have changed phones on the team. Remember when you let me in between? That was 2017. All good jobs will look around, find one that seem my type. That my dog and he know what I like. He done found me plenty in my life. Problem is I meet a girl tonight, then I go and treat her too nice. Gallery or credit card swipe. I don't even know if she white, but I do know one thing though. Women they come, they go. Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo. Maybe I love you one day, maybe we'll someday grow. Till then I send my drunk ass on that runway, on this one way.
That joint rockin', boy. I don't care. Shouts to No Reply jumping in the chat over here.
Jury in the safe on arrival. Pistol on Jay for survival. Lot of people gunning for the title. Lot of people trying to take us viral. I'm just trying to have a night.
If you didn't know it was AI, would you know it was AI? I wouldn't.
She said, babe, I think there was a typo.
I would think it was a new artist.
Nah, girl, I got it, that's light though. I can show you bigger things than that. It's gonna be a minute till I'm back. Let me give you images that last. MX had a limit in the past. I had plenty women in the past. I done plenty sinning in the past. You don't need to know, but you can ask. Sticking on your backstage pass. It's all access cause you bad. You can go wherever with that ass. Show to the shower to the truck to the club for the party. You go in first with your girls. Cause I don't know who's out there watching, but I do know one thing. Women, they come, they go. Saturday through Sunday, Monday.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. I know I just broke somebody's heart. Somebody who's been working their ass off to be a musician, singer, whatever. If AI can make this to the point where I can't really tell, I really can't. If I didn't know it was AI generated, I wouldn't have known. And that's what worried me. When the line got blurred, I think they called that the singularity. When you couldn't tell the difference between the things that were digitally created and the things that were created by the human element, specifically, right? And we've reached that point. I've told anybody who's been on this show, especially in the last week or so, October 2025, that was the point of no return. So in 10 years, when we look back on this, just remember, October 2025 was when we hit the point of no return. We've already gotten to the point where we can replace actors. We can replace models. We can replace now producers, songwriters, rappers, everybody. We can replace them with AI music that, in my opinion, sounds pretty damn good. Sounds pretty good because, you know, the human element, we have a tendency to make crap like this. Seen this? Have I seen this video?
Hey, I don't like to murder, I just want money. Tell me what the fuck funny, we rap that nigga just like mommy. Cruise off in the X5.
This is why.
Like test dummies. I'm a grown lady, Uncle Sam my best buddy. I don't need consent, baby, sign his NDA. Better put that.
This is why AI will be able to beat us out in music, because we're putting this kind of stuff up and saying that it's hot, and it's not. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage, okay? But that other situation They're mixing genres. They're taking artists that you're already familiar with, songs that the lyrics you already know, remixing them into something that doesn't even sound like the original. As a matter of fact, I would suffice to say the Drake thing sounded better than the actual Drake Chicago freestyle. Now, I know some people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but if you listen to the two of them, there's more soul in the AI version. What the hell happened? Anyway, y'all see the point. This is why. This kind of artist is why AI has a place. Because AI has listened to this garbage.
That pussy on his face to take his BOA. If you get sick, I got Quay. Pussy niggas hating on me, all that I take, got delayed.
AI heard that and said, yo, I can do way better than that. And now they got to create music. So what's next? What's it gonna make next, folks? To take away from the creatives. It's already doing half of the content here on YouTube is AI generated. Now we got the music. They're going for TV next, movies. Yo, I'm telling you, no reply. They may not be hearing us out there. October 2025 was the point of no return. That's exactly when it happened. When I said, okay, that's a problem, was October 2025. Up until now, it was always like AI was kind of like a goofy little brother, you know, smart, but had a lot of growing to do. Now this dude is about to be nefarious. This is nefarious, to be better than the human element at creating creative works. That means creativity. That means that AI is being creative, meaning it can start coming up with its own stuff. And we already know where that's going to end. But I just wanted to get started with it. If you're a musician out there, please do better than this lady, because AI is beating her out, along with 80% of the current artists that I hear. And No Reply said they got a I Got 5 on It remix. I'm going to check that out too. Not going to lie, I like it, but I worry about it because I'm a creative as well. And I need there to always be a space for creative people. But it may become a space where you're just a creative and you create and then you use the AI to enhance the. That's what it's about to be. Hope you guys are ready for it. Hope you're ready for it. I'm ready for it. And No Reply has been feeding me some pretty cool AI clips as well. And I'm spreading those around slowly because I'm not really sure what the regulations are on this stuff yet. You know, AI generated content has gotten people in trouble before. So I'm just kind of dipping my feet in it a little bit just to see what the temperature is. And then before you know it, I have a whole channel full of that stuff. Whole channel full of it. Why not? Might as well get with the times or get left behind. That's how it works. So anyway, let me get to the next piece. Let me get to the next piece. And don't forget, if you're feeling so inclined, go ahead and send a super chat or make sure that you check out our merch over on the Freeman Services website there at www.freemansvcs.org/shop. And you can go ahead in there and check out a couple of our items. Everything that you are purchasing does go to research and navigation specialists for fair chance hiring and persons who have employment disability. Actually what we do. But we also have to purge the BS as well. So let me get to the next piece. But I'm telling you, be worried. If you're worried, be worried. If you're smart, get with it. Learn how you can use it to make your experience and your creativity. And that's the next thing. I want to make everything. Now, granted, you got to pay a lot of money to be able to just make everything. But I want to make everything. So this next piece here, I'm bringing it up because I'm confused. I got a notice from my bank recently that said that they were going to be closed for Columbus Day. And I said, hold on a second. I thought Columbus Day wasn't a thing anymore. I thought after they went through debunking things that, after they found out what really happened, I mean, we kind of knew it the whole time. But after a while, they were like, let's just call it Indigenous Peoples Day, or, they literally stopped celebrating it. I will say that. There was a time when I was in school when I was young and they used to get off for Columbus Day, and then that stopped because of what I would call the early wokeness of America. That was before they started changing logos and all that kind of stuff. But it was early on. They were like, hey, it's disrespectful to the people that were slaughtered when Columbus got here to have a holiday in his name. So let's just not do that anymore. So then they didn't do it. And then they tried to change it to Indigenous Peoples Day. And some people were like, okay, that's cool. But then other people were like, no, if you're going to have the day, you might as well have it be its original holiday, right? So I get this email from the bank in regards to Columbus Day. So let's see. Let's see here. All right, hold on. Make sure my transition is working here. Sorry, guys. My transition wasn't working. You can hear it, but you can't see it. All right, that should be. Well, anyway, you guys can see it. So on October 13th for Columbus Day, the bank will be closed. So if you need to do some money transactions, especially at Chase, you need to keep this Columbus Day celebration in mind here. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because, like I said, I thought Columbus Day wasn't a thing anymore. And did they just quietly sneak it back into the holiday schedule and nobody was told about it? Because I sure as hell didn't know. And it's apparently it's back to being considered a federal holiday, and they called it Columbus Day again. So we'll see if they start letting the schools get out. But I think if we're going to have Columbus Day, you could celebrate it because it was the beginning of a new world. It wasn't the original story was a total lie, of course. But no reply about the kill the game with the sword too. I see it. So, we got it. Columbus never actually came to America. That's true. He didn't. He didn't hit North America. Wasn't he down in the Philippines or something? He went somewhere else first. And then he went back and told everybody what was going on in this area. People came over, started what we know as the new world, I guess you would say, the West. And the rest is history. But it's interesting that it's okay to celebrate Columbus knowing that he was intoxicated, knowing that he went to the wrong place, knowing that, his so-called discovery led to the slaughtering of millions of Native American people through violence and famine and disease. So basically him showing up was like the worst thing that ever happened to some people. So that's why I think it's a little bit of a kind of a kick in the face to call it a holiday. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Shouts to Jay Coleman stopping in the chat. I want y'all to give me your opinion. Should we continue to celebrate Columbus Day as a federal holiday with its name Columbus Day, not with the Indigenous Peoples Day, which makes sense to me, but the indigenous people don't come off the reservations to have a party with us on that day. So it's like we're throwing them a holiday, but they're not coming and hanging out on the holiday. They don't invite us to the cookout. So I don't know, man. Just saying. I'm just saying. I thought that they got rid of it. Then it came back quietly. And I always wonder, well, who voted on it when they said, all right, let's bring it back. Then they brought it back, made it a holiday, and now the banks are closed. So if you're going to do any banking transactions on the 13th, keep in mind that Christopher Columbus's holiday is back in session this year, and a number of places will be closed. Now, I'm waiting for somebody to have a response like, that's racist or something, something against Columbus Day. But there's so much other stuff going on, they're probably not going to say. But I just thought y'all should know that they took the holiday away, and then somebody said, and they brought it back. So we all know the Columbus story. Everybody knows what's going on. Just like No Reply said, Columbus didn't even set foot in North America. He had nothing to do really with what is actually going on today. But we celebrate it like it was a discovery, like he went somewhere that nobody had ever been. And that wasn't true either. So it's like the whole premise of the holiday is kind of false. And I think maybe we should just keep it as Indigenous Peoples Day or New World Day or something. Like give it something different. Because when you say Columbus Day, I'm sure for some people who may have Native American heritage, it's probably pretty painful to be celebrating somebody that basically nearly took out your kids. That'd be like having a Hitler Day. You know what I'm saying? To some people. Same. We're going to purge the BS on that. But the banks, you know how they are. They just took it as an opportunity to close down for a day so they don't have to work. That's all they're trying to do. So, nonetheless, let me come back. Columbus Day. They be tripping. And I got to thank y'all for bearing with me today. I'm under the weather, but this is my our last episode of the week. We're not doing a regular Saturday episode this week. If possible, I might do some on the scene IRL stuff, but I'm supposed to be spending some time with the wife, so sorry if I don't come and see y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather hang out with her. She's cool. Y'all are cool. Just saying. When I get my time, I get away and we get away. So that's what we're going to do. So thank you for coming in on this lovely Thursday. Make sure you hit that like button over here because now we're about to start digging into some stuff. Okay? Got out of it. I got the softened palette out the way. We had 50 Cent and Drake music, AI music. Columbus Day made a comeback. Now we're going to get into the nefarious and the reason why we must purge the beast. You guys may have heard this story. It's very viral right now. There was a young lady who basically tried to take out all her kids. And I don't mean take them to Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, she literally tried to take out all of her children with a pew-pew. Yeah. You guys are not going to believe. I didn't believe it when I heard it. I ain't going to lie. I was like, first of all, you know, I understand not liking your kids, but I didn't see that. Like trying to take out 4 of your kids, man. It's crazy. So anyway, let's talk about this lady. Her name is Anita Romulus. Let's see what Anita Romulus did. Jay Coleman, you ask a great question about why do we have a holiday for something that didn't happen is because the people that wrote history decided they wanted to do that. They wanted to do it, and they did it, and then we were born, and it was already here. So, me personally, I don't celebrate Columbus Day. I know what really happened. I think it's interesting, but as far as like, you know, having a cookout or something like that, or having a little event for family to come over, that's not a celebratable holiday for me. Okay? It goes against my purge principles because this whole story is bullshit. So if I'm celebrating that day, I'm celebrating some bullshit, and I can't do that. It's just not right. Just not right. So speaking of things that are just not right, Anita Romulus, a mother who once appeared on paternity court seeking her son's father, has been charged with pew-pewing, since YouTube is sensitive, with pew-pewing her 4 children, unaliving 2 of them, including the same son that she was on paternity court trying to prove who the dad was. Now, you guys know how I feel about parenting issues. I would venture to say that this lady was not the best parent. And you can say what you want about me saying that, but if it ended how it did, she was not the best parent. Okay? We don't know, and I know she had a rough life. We don't know what her background is. We don't know blah, 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 blah. But parenting-wise, she was not a good parent. If that's where it ends, you're not a good parent. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know somebody's going to be in there. Tell her story. I know where it ended. So anyway, let's look at the news story real quick. Because this one's going viral because they're like, where was the fathers? Where was this? Where was that? You know what? Those are great questions. Let's see if we get any of those answered.
Also tonight, a mother is accused of shooting her 4 children, killing 2 of them. The Brazoria County Sheriff's Office says the children were found yesterday at a gas station in Angleton after they say the mother called them. ABC 13's Sarah Al-Sheikh is at the Sheriff's Office with the latest tonight.
The Sheriff's Office says those shots were fired from inside of a car and that the shooter was the mother, Oninda Romulus. Still a lot of unanswered questions as this investigation unfolds.
Brazoria County deputies responded to an unthinkable, unimaginable tragedy. This event has shaken our community, and we are all feeling the loss.
4 young children shot near Angleton, 2 of them dying from their injuries, according to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. The person they believe did this?
Romulus, the mother of the children, is a shooter.
31-year-old Oninda Romulus.
This tragedy has occurred.
I ain't never met anybody with the last name Romulus. Like, I'm thinking about it. I've met a lot of people in my life. I have never met a real live Romulan. Never once. I don't know what her family background is, but she had 4 children. At least one of them was not by the same father as the other 3, because that was the one she was on paternity court trying to prove was somebody's child. And it's like, I'm going to be honest with you. There's not really a lot they can tell me in this story. This was a grown adult. She wasn't, a teenager, with that undeveloped frontal lobe shit they be talking about. She was definitely old enough and grown enough to know when she had had enough. And so instead of giving these kids to a family member or a close friend or their father, a lot of people forget these kids have dads. And a lot of times the dads would take care of the kids. They just ain't with all the goofy stuff with the mama. So if she's just like, look, here, take your kid. It's whatever. Most dads will be like, send the kid. No big deal. But you ain't going to be over here every day bothering me. See what I'm saying? So she didn't call the dads. She didn't call family. She decided to take it upon herself to try to get rid of her own kid. So I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy for her. I don't know what her deal is. But I just know that wasn't the only option. And for some reason, she felt entitled enough and controlling enough over not only herself, but her kids' lives, as if they were hers. Like their life belonged to her. Ma'am, just because you didn't abort them in the womb doesn't mean that you get to play life and death and play God with them. And that's how she felt. She was an entitled person. So,
inside of the vehicle.
It all unfolded Saturday morning when the Sheriff's Office says Romulus called them at 4:48
And she called the police on herself. Why you ain't call them before you did all that?
To her location. We didn't know exactly what we were responding to at the time.
Brazoria County Sheriff Bo Stallman says deputies responded near FM 521 and 288B and provided life-saving measures to the 4 children until ambulances arrived.
We need multiple ambulances.
Sadly, they say a 13-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl died, while an 8-year-old boy and 9-year-old girl were taken via life flight to a hospital in Houston, where they are currently in stable.
All right, so there was a 3-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 13-year-old. And I know one of them had a different daddy than the rest, if not all of them having different. She called the police on herself after the fact. Why not call the police on yourself before the fact? You see what I'm saying? She didn't really love them kids. I'm sorry. Say whatever you want. Yes, you're struggling. Yes, mental health is an issue in America, so on and so forth. Don't call me heartless for it, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you unalive your own kids, especially when they're already born, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to how people feel about, preborn people. But once they're out, okay, once they make it out, that's a whole different level of diabolical. And if you raise kids for 3, 8, 9, and 13 years, and you just had enough, and you want to take them all out, 2 of these kids are going to have to live on with the memory that their mother unalived their at least half brother and sister right in front of them. So you're starting that cycle again. I wish the best for these kids, but I'm not going to be surprised if they turn out to be sociopaths as well. Just continuing the cycle. So I'm going to let it keep going, but a lot of people were on the internet talking about this is what single mothers go through. All right, you know what? I'm over that shit. Just give the kid to the dad if that's how you feel. If you don't have no other option, or so you say, and if you were in paternity court, somebody's paying child support. So, like, what are you doing here, folks? What are we doing here? Ridiculous.
This investigation spans across county lines, about an hour and a half north to Montgomery County to a home in Porter, where the sheriff's office says Romulus lives. A family member told ABC 13 Romulus and her children moved to Texas from Georgia a few months ago.
Our investigators, along with responding agencies, continue to collect and analyze evidence in this case and in this ongoing investigation.
Now the sheriff's office says Romulus is charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Officials still trying to figure out where the car was when that shooting happened inside of it and why those shots were fired in the first
place. Did you hear that? They said they're trying to figure out where the car was when the shooting happened. So that means that she shot them up in the car, then drove to the gas station with her shot up babies in the back seat, then called the police on herself. And obviously isn't talking much at this point because they're still missing a lot of details. Guys, we got to be honest here. There is a segment of people that keep getting pumped and dumped that do not need to be parents. This woman should not have been parenting these children by herself. Obviously, she was unstable. Obviously, she was going through something. And obviously, she wasn't getting the help and the resources that she needs. And I'm not just talking about child support. I'm talking about the community that it used to take and the village that it used to take to raise a child. You see this woman got 4 kids, no man in the house, don't know who the daddy is of at least one of them. She probably cusses out her neighbors. She looks like she's a cusser. Nobody's going to offer her any help. They probably think she's mean or she's the typical angry black woman or whatever it was. Nobody helped her out. But that still doesn't mean that she gets to do what she did. I'm just saying that we need to be paying more attention to people. I'm sure she showed some signs of depression. You don't just wake up on a Tuesday and then you're like, all right, let me go unalive these kids and then I'm going to go over to the Publix and get me some lunch meat. Like, no, your brain is already in a space. And I would believe that somebody knew she was on the edge and didn't say nothing. And that's the thing. If you see these mothers or fathers, whoever, parents out here, they're on the edge. If you see something, you got to say something. Because these people are losing their minds. Shooting up their own children in the back seat of the car, then driving around with them until they get to the point of, all right, I think they're gone. So now I'll call the police. But the police and the EMS people managed to save 2 of them. Let it finish.
It is impossible to make sense of a senseless tragedy like this, but we will do everything we can to seek justice for these children.
The sheriff's office says the mother has been interviewed. They also say the surviving children have been interviewed as well. They say the mother's bond has been set at $14 million. Damn. Reporting in Angleton, Sarah Alshake, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
All right. So her bail is set at $14 million. Pretty sure she's never getting out of there. I would suffice to say that if she has any friends, that she's not worth $14 million for what she did. You're going to sit. Don't call me if that's what you did. Don't call me. I'm not bailing you out at all. Matter of fact, I will come up with some additional charges to give you. If you call me asking for $14 million after you unalived your children, I'm going to tell the police that you harassing and stalking me, and I want additional charges pressed. You will never come out that jail, and you shouldn't. If I can't trust you around your own kids, I can't trust you around the public. Probably shouldn't have had a firearm in the first place with all them young kids in the house, but she was a single woman, probably felt like she needed it for protection, and she looks like the type, she probably got some, sketchy types coming around. Mr. John this and, them guys. the so-called uncles, but they ain't related, them dudes. So she probably had the weapon for that purpose. But this is the problem with having weapons when people ain't got their mind right. Eventually they'll find something stupid to do with the weapon. This was dumb. This lady threw her whole life away, unalived 2 of her children, and left 2 of her children to grow up remembering this story. They're going to grow up as the product of this story. That means they'll go to a school somewhere and somebody be like, hey, that's such and such whose mama tried to kill them. I know I'm not supposed to say the K word on the internet, or at least on YouTube these days, but let's just be real. That's a destruction of multiple people, all because this woman just didn't get the help that she needed. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of women, a lot of men, a lot of families that are broke, but what they don't do is unalive the kids. So there is definitely something that needed to be explored with this woman other than her insides. And they just let her live. The house that they showed, if that was her house, it was a nice house. So she wasn't in the hood. She might have been in, in a lower middle class area, but she was definitely not on the street. So she had stuff, she had resources, but she didn't have any help. And it's a crazy world when you can say, I have resources, but I don't have help. That's wild. So I can't go any further into it because it's a nefarious act. I have no sympathy for whatever her time in jail is. I have a lot of sympathy for the 2 kids that survived, because those kind of things will be in the child's head forever. And they might turn out to be just like mama later. Them kids going to have emotional problems. They are. They're going to have some problems. They're not going to be without flaws, so to speak. Them kids are going to be screwed up for the rest of their lives, and it's their mother's fault. So to a degree, like I said, I have no sympathy for the mother, but let's just be real here. With 4 kids and a bunch of different daddies, where the hell were the fathers? You know you got your kid with this crazy person. You should be in the court system like, judge, she crazy. Let me get my kid. I know. Yes, it's hard to fight in the courts. Believe me, I go through it myself. But at minimum, you got to try, especially if you know they're around some crazy person. She didn't just wake up crazy. She'd been crazy. That's probably why she was by herself. She was good enough to get laid down, but she couldn't stay down. You understand what I'm saying? So, anyway, man. Anyway, y'all see people acting out, man, and you think they're going to do something stupid to their children? Snitch. Snitch. And if they say, why you snitch on me? Be like, because you was acting wild. And we've seen too much wild stuff to not say anything anymore. I don't put nothing past nobody. If you can do this to your own children, imagine what you'll do to the rest of the population that you really don't care about. Absolutely diabolical. Let's move to the next thing. That's how I get in trouble. This is how I get in trouble. It's called sensitive topics, right? Another sensitive topic that I had wanted to cover was there was a young man that had unalived himself he thought he was guilty of taking out this old person in a car accident. He was a football player from LSU, if I'm not mistaken. And come to find out he was totally innocent, and he took his own life. Now, we can't talk too deeply about it because the S word is like forbidden to talk about on YouTube. You can talk about, people doing things to each other, but when they do it to themselves, it's like the second you mention that, they put the little label under the video with the hotline number so you can call it for help. So we're not going to get into that story, but don't think I didn't notice it. That's some bullshit too, okay? Man, that's crazy though. I'm sorry, that bothers me, man, because there's so many people out here fighting for their kids, trying to see their kids, and meanwhile, you got this lady over here just probably don't want nobody to see them. But she also won't give the kids up because there's a check involved in having them children. It's a monthly check for them kids living there. So give up that check, you give up your whole livelihood. You can't give up your kids. Can't even though you know that they would be in a better spot somewhere else, can't live without them because you built your lifestyle around a child support payment and not a salary or income that you make, which is stupid. But speaking of stupid, let me get to the next one. Here. They will stop advertising to me. But this next one is for you, for your married folks, okay? Basically, a Connecticut woman tried to put her husband on the freeze, literally. Let me show it to you. Bring this over. Ads, man. I'm sorry, the ad is still running. I refuse to give them free. Not the story. Oh, that's another story. Man, they're showing me something totally different. Hold on a second. Now I'm pissed. You baited and switched me. All right, here we go. Bring it over. Hey, make sure you hit the like button. All right, guys. So this lady here, this is Kristen Hogan. Kristen Hogan is a Connecticut mom accused of poisoning her estranged husband with antifreeze as the pair was locked in a bitter custody battle for their children. He was arrested in Richfield, charged with 2 counts of attempted M and 1 count of interfering with a police officer. Allegedly poisoned wine and iced tea. Sebastian Pelega, thank you for the super chat over there. And Sebastian says it's absolutely sick that people use their kids as a base for income. Kids are not objects. They are the future. And more importantly, they are humans, man. I like that. All right, everybody. You seen what Sebastian just did, right? It's called a super chat. Feel free to do the same thing. Be more like Sebastian, okay? And less like Kristen Hogan over here. All right, so let's see what we got here. So she was poisoning the wine and iced tea at her estranged husband's home with ethylene glycol, which is the main ingredient in antifreeze. Okay, let's continue. Husband, who was not named in the court documents, drank a small amount of wine stored in the fridge, but soon realized something was wrong after repeatedly, notice the word repeatedly, waking up sick throughout the night. Next day, he continued to vomit, feel ill. His mother arrived, found him slurring his words, staggering, vomiting, and rushed him to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctors initially thought he had a stroke. But after monitoring his symptoms, they found signs of ethylene glycol poisoning. He was transferred to the ICU, placed on dialysis for renal failure, where he informed doctors about drinking the wine. Special shouts to Universal Vagabond. Thank you for the super chat in there. Make sure that you guys be more like Sebastian Pelega and Universal Vagabond. Appreciate y'all. All right, we're going to talk here. There's a couple things. All right, so the bottle of wine was initially opened 5 days before, and when he had some people over for dinner, the husband then met with Ridgefield police detectives, told him he believed that she had poisoned the wine on August the 7th when he was supposed to meet her at a court hearing, which she never showed up for. Probably didn't show up for it because she didn't think he was going to make it either. Okay. All right, so the father, who shares, here we go with this child thing. The child has full unrestricted access at the home, okay? So initially, she denied doing anything wrong. But you know what? I don't need to get into the specifics here. I need to go back up. Let's talk about some things, okay? Let's talk about some things here. And happy early birthday to Al in the chat. Thank you for the super chat as well. Appreciate you, man. Y'all make sure you say happy birthday to Al in the chat. And be nice about it. Don't call him old and shit. All right? So this is where we got to go here, guys, okay? Some of you guys have never been through the breakup, okay? The breakup when there is a child involved and there's a marital home, okay? It sounds like the two of them were still in a household together, even though they were going through the process of divorce and going through some type of child custody issue. And the child custody issue was connected to the divorce. So, gentlemen, if you happen to be in this situation, some separate in the house shit, like you're separated but you're still in the house together, don't eat or drink nothing in that house. Unless you brought it in there yourself from some other place that you stopped on the way in at Taco Bell or some shit. Don't eat or drink nothing. Like, she's being nice. She's giving you wine and juice and all that, but she hates you. She wants to divorce you. Man, you need a sniffer dog in there. Everything she's touching is with the intent of taking you out, bro. You ain't even got to ask me a question. No, I don't want any. No, I'm fine. Thank you. No. Let's have a drink. No. You won't get me with that one. No, sir. But here's the other thing is, she got gums for days, but that's fine. She's got a big smile. Why choose coolant? Like, there's other things that you could have gotten. Why just go to the car, pop the trunk, and get the antifreeze? She didn't even put a lot of thought into this nefarious act, because it would take too much of the antifreeze in order for him to actually pass away. So she was just screwing with him. She's just mad that he's still in the house, and she still got to wake up to his clothes on the floor somewhere, even though they don't sleep in the same bed. She still got to hear him moving around and farting. She can't have no new company at the joint. Can't move on. So she's upset. And her upsetness got her to the point where she literally tried to poison this man. So, I'm telling y'all right now, if you're going through a divorce, somebody got to get out. Get out the house, because most times it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. Matter of fact, everybody get out the house. But the two people that are going through the thing, still being in the same house, meaning that at some point you might be asleep around a person that might not want you to be alive no more, that's a dangerous situation. So I will say this to the husband, you kind of brought it on yourself. I know you wanted to be around for your kid and all that kind of stuff, but you could have just came and grabbed your kid in the morning and took him to school and slept in the hotel or whatever. But he was probably on some, I ain't giving up this house, I built this house, same old shit. They probably both went through it. And so neither one of them wanted to leave. It's like War of the Roses. I built this. So now they both in there trying to kill each other. And the father don't want to be named. Why not? Why not? Because he probably put out a hit on her already. So I'm just saying, guys, if you're going through that process, get out. Somebody got to go. Or it could become violent or dangerous or poisonous, toxic. You pick the word, but somebody's got to be the bigger person and get the hell out of the marital home. I know it sucks. I know you put it together. I know you did so much, I know you did so much to build this thing together. Is it Sebastian? I say Sebastian because that's how it was spelled, and I'm ignorant. But thank you for the super chat. Sebastian? Is it Sebastian? Pole legger? The pole legger is funny to me. I thought that was a joke, like to say I got a pole for a third leg kind of thing, a pole legger. Whatever. You can use that if you like it. But nonetheless, I really want to hit on this point because a lot of domestic violence happens when people are going through a divorce. And if you put two, I don't want to call them enemies per se, but yeah, they're enemies. In a divorce, they're enemies. I'm sorry. Everybody's trying to get what they can or not give up something. So yeah, you're enemies in a divorce. You cannot put two enemies in a cage together called the marital home and think nothing's going to happen. Somebody's going to get in a fight. Somebody might get poisoned like this situation. They might start destroying things in the house because they don't want nobody to have it. It's just a very toxic situation. I think the two of them should have been smarter about that because the legal system don't help you. Like when you file for that, they never say, hey, did one of y'all move out the house yet? When you file for a divorce, they never ask you these questions. They never ask you these questions. They just say, all right, hey, we'll take your $150 or whatever the cost is, and good luck. And they send you right back home with that paperwork that somebody else has to sign in the same house. And then you got to go to sleep around them? Nah, man, I'm out. That's the end of that. Sorry. So y'all got to be more careful. Thanks again, Sebastian Pole Legger, okay, for the super chat. Appreciate y'all with the super chat situation. Y'all doing a wonderful job supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. So let's get to the next thing. I'm telling you, man, don't do that. I don't know why people do that shit. Like, have they not seen War of the Roses? If you're, maybe I'm telling my age here, but War of the Roses I saw when I was too young to even be married. And I saw that situation like, well, I don't want to enter into that problem. I think they ended up killing each other. If I'm not mistaken, I know they got hurt. I know she ran over the dude's car, the chandelier fell, it was a whole thing. So be careful. If you're going through a divorce, somebody got to go, okay? I know it sucks, but it's true. Somebody got to go. Now, move to this next one. Jeez. Oh, we got some young ladies. It says a young lady goes viral for her acting skills. All right, we're going to have a quick conversation about this because I know what this one's about. Apparently, there is this thing called acting black that people do. It's basically when they're like really hood and they're not black. They call it acting black, which is funny because not all black people live in the hood. Just like not all white people live in mansions. So the actual difference is the haves and the have-nots, the cultures that come from the resources. So if you live in a poor white area, you're going to talk differently than the person that lives in a rich white area. Same with black people. And then sometimes they intermix. There's black and white people in lower income areas, right? And they end up kind of melting into each other. They come up with their own jargon, their own little words and stuff, and it kind of becomes a melting pot. I done seen hood, black, and white people. So when they say acting black, that never works to me. But I know some people don't know enough black people to say that they know black people that don't act like that. So to them, yeah, to the stereotype, of course, yeah. But anyway, this girl's going viral right now. So let me bring this situation over. We're going to quickly view, quickly discuss this whole acting black thing, and we'll see how you guys feel about it after we're done. And thanks again, Sebastian, for the super chat over here as well. See, that's what I'm talking about. Support the content, support the channel, support the movement, and make sure that you get into the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, we do have a little more freedom over there to speak on certain things and show certain things on the Discord. So make sure you come on over. All right, so let's see what we got here. Young lady is going viral for her acting skills. That's what the captions. See what it turns. We're almost there. We're almost there. We got two of these, and then we got Sanchez. We're going to run right through it because I got shit to do today. So nonetheless, this is the young lady in question. Let's view her in her natural habitat and see what this whole acting black thing is. Okay, let's see.
Damn bitch, you got right now? Bye-bye. All y'all niggas.
Shit, what the fuck? You're like 100 pounds.
Weirdo.
There's usually
And
N-word.
it's 100 pounds and the register. I dropped bitches and knocked that whole pink out. So what's good? What's good?
Sure.
What's good? Come on.
Is it like
My
trailer
hands are
bitches
right
that do a lot of
there.
meth that don't have teeth to
Come
begin
on.
with?
I'll beat your ass.
You don't scare me.
Come on.
Go the fuck around.
Now I'll tell you what, I'm more scared of the wildebeest. This one, I'm way more scared of this one than the other one. The other one, she don't even know how to make a correct fist. Anybody that's standing there like that, you ain't no damn kickboxer. If you can't make a fist, how you gonna fight? But yeah, this wildebeest right here, they called everybody the N-word. And just based on what I see in the background, it doesn't really seem like a lot of black people there. So she's just talking shit. And she's daring anybody to come and say something. I think the clip was supposed to be more about the little skinny one, but the one we got to be more focused on when we see her in public is the big one. The big one is the most dangerous. She's got a damn bullhorn. You can't ignore her ass. She's in the middle of the street holding up traffic. She's the problem. The little white girl, it was almost cute. It was almost cute. Let's watch it. Look at it. She ain't anybody scared of you. Look at her. If you put her in the right outfit, she's a freaking model. She's built like a little model. Over here talking about dead ass. Okay. Your ass will be dead. You can be in the wrong neighborhood with that.
100 pounds.
Weirdo.
There's usually
And
N-word.
it's 100 pounds and the register. I dropped bitches and knocked that whole pink out. So what's good? What's good?
Sure.
What's good? Come on.
Is it like
My
trailer
hands are
bitches
right
that do a lot
there.
of meth that don't have teeth to begin with?
I'll beat your ass. Come
You
on.
don't scare me.
Come on.
Go the fuck
Come
around.
on.
You won't say it again, right? That's how you won't say it again, right? Say it again. Y'all fucking touched me, you weird ass bitches. Y'all touched me, you weird ass bitches. Y'all are weird as
All right, like I said, the most dangerous person in this video is the wildebeest. She is the one we need to watch out for. This is the one that causes trouble. Anybody that walks around with a bullhorn, like a little mini bullhorn, like they always got something to say, they ready to protest at all times. These are the people we got to watch out for. The other girl, I get it, she was acting a certain type of way, but I think she's just from a hood. You see what I'm saying? Like, she's just from a hood. And when you from a hood, you sound like you from the hood. You know, you can call it black, but all black people ain't from the hood. So that's just a small-minded way of thinking. You sound uncultured is how you sound. You sound uncouth. That's how you sound. And I agree with Sebastian's super chat there. She looks like she's never really been beat down. Like I said, the stance says it all. When you do the open hands, like you don't even make a correct fist, you ain't no fighter. You ain't no fighter. You don't even know. You probably still putting your thumbs in your fists. You know, so you can break your thumbs. You don't even know how to punch correctly. You don't even know how to transfer your weight off your hip. None of that stuff. She's cute. That's why at the end it just took the wildebeest one arm over her shoulder to stop her from doing anything. So, okay, all right, we're starting there. All right, what's the second one? Okay, cool. The next one is a little softer. So I don't believe that the girl was acting black. Let me purge the BS on it real quick. I don't believe she was acting black per se. I believe that she's just uncultured and a little too hood and was out there messing with the little softies at some protest and was trying to act hard. That's what that was. So it was stupid. Of course, it was very dumb. But I wouldn't consider her like a culture vulture or something stupid like that. She's just being an idiot. Okay. Let's see. What's the second one? Let's see what we got here. Boy, why is my chat not scrolling? And I apologize, guys. My chat, for some reason, is not scrolling. So if I'm missing, I'm seeing the super chats, but my regular chat is normally it scrolls on my screen. It's not scrolling. Nothing personal, okay? I'm telling you right now, man, that little girl wasn't scaring nobody out there. That's why they were joking her. She ain't scaring nobody. She was like, dead ass, I beat bitches. Sorry, man. Bastion put it, his girl would take that lady down. I believe it. I believe it. That big one, though, that's the one you got to watch out for. Dangerous. All right, let's get to these last two so I can get off this thing. Okay, this one's going to piss off probably some ladies. Apparently, some woman got kicked out of a car because she said that she would not do the sex thing with the person that came to pick her up. Now, I need more context on that. I need more context on that because a lot of times people be having agreements that they don't say nothing about. And then when you like get there, then they switch it up on you. And then all of a sudden, you know, now you the bad guy for expecting one thing and they not doing that. So let's see. Before I pass judgment to say, hey, man, you know, no means no. And just because she's not putting out doesn't mean that you got to kick her out. But let's just see the story first, okay? Before we assume anything. All right, let's see what we got here.
You're gonna take me home right now because I don't want to fuck.
Bro, yes.
Why? I thought we were having a good time. Like, we were having a good ass time, just chilling with each other. We just got some snacks. Like, why can't we just go to the movies or something? I don't want to go home right now.
I drove a half an hour here. It's 2 in the morning. I'm not coming to hang out with you, bro. I want to fuck.
I mean, at least he's honest.
Why are you talking to me like that?
Bro, we grown as fuck, bro. I'm not playing with you. I don't got time for this. I'm taking you home. I'm being nice and respectful.
You think that's respectful?
Yeah, he said I'm being nice and respectful.
I already took a honey pack and some more shit. You don't let me fuck. Bro, get the camera out my face, bro.
A honey pack? Guys.
Bro, get the fuck out, for real.
All right, so apparently he bought her some bud. He came out to get her at 2 o'clock in the morning. And she wants to chill. He wants to do something that normally people would do when they come out that late at night. That's booty call hours, folks. You know, you have every right. This young lady has every right to say no. Okay? I don't want you to get that misconstrued. She has every right to say no. But to act like you don't know what it is at 2 in the morning, that's where it starts to become disingenuous. First of all, that's dangerous. If you don't know what you out there to do, then why is you out there? Now, like I said, it is her right to say no, but she's acting like surprised that this guy might have thought about doing that. And that's where, like I said, that's not right. Because now you're trying to make it seem like he's thinking some crazy shit. Ma'am, you came outside at 2 in the morning. He bought you some bud, according to the video, and some food. And now he's taking you home. So you still won. You see what I'm saying? You still a winner. You're just mad because now you can't keep using this dude all night and he's not getting nothing out of it. Hey, you know what? Some of the fellas have stood up. Them days is over where you're just going to keep draining dudes and he can't even satisfy himself. Well, you know, get satisfied himself. Not saying that you have to be a prostitute. I'm just saying that men expect things as well, especially grown men with an urge. So if they call you at 2 in the morning, that's how Mike Tyson got messed up. He had the lady come to his hotel room at 2 in the morning. Next thing you know, it was an assault charge. But everybody said, well, why did you go there at 2 in the morning? You didn't know that was booty call hours? Well, if you didn't know, let me help you understand. Anytime after 10 p.m. on any day, you pick the day of the week, I don't care. It's all the same. If it's after 10 p.m., there's a good chance the person you're going to meet is trying to get it in. And if they're not trying to get it in, honestly, that's a little weird. After 10 p.m., why are you calling me? It's late. So, like I said, the young lady, she has the right to say no. I'm not saying she doesn't have the right to say no. But this gentleman was honest. And for that, I have to give him an applause. He was honest. He said what he wanted. She said no. He said, okay, I'm taking you home. I'm not going to play this game with you. I want what I want. You telling me I'm not going to have it, that's cool. I'm not going to waste my time or yours. You can go back home. You done already got some bud out of me, and you got whatever else he had purchased at that point. He drove 30 minutes or 30 miles, he said, to get her. So, yeah, he'll be just fine. He's going to put her out and go back home and take care of himself. And it'll cost him less. So, ladies, not saying you're supposed to kick out because somebody bought you some bud. What I'm saying is, if you go out with a dude at 2 a.m, don't question whether or not he's trying to smash. Okay? He is trying to smash. I can tell you, I don't even need to know the dude. You pick any man and link up with him at 2, any man that likes women. Okay? Since I got to be freaking specific these days. Any man that likes women, if he is hooking up with a woman at 2 a.m, he's trying to smash. So ladies, you don't have to smash, but don't act like you don't know what he's trying to do. And then when he says he's trying to do that, you're like, you're being disrespectful. How am I being disrespectful? You got me out at 2 o'clock in the morning, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow, but I'm trying to get something. So you being disrespectful. You using up all my time and then mad at me because I might want a little sugar. I might want a little sugar. Man's not wrong for that. That's honest. I know it sounds, kind of sleazy, but it's honest. 2 a.m, ma'am. I came to pick you up because I thought we was getting down. And now you want to go just drive around the city and look at water and shit. No, I'm taking you back home because I got stuff to do tomorrow that'll probably end with me getting what I was trying to get tonight from somebody else. Not promoting all of this debauchery. I'm just saying you need to understand the situation before you put yourself into it. This guy could have been a sleazeball. Now he's got you out there at 2 o'clock in the morning and he wants to throw you in the back against your will. So let's keep those things in mind as well. You could be in danger if you say no and this gentleman is expecting that. And he's expecting it because you went out with him at 2 o'clock in the morning. So ladies, stop doing that. It's dangerous. But if the guy that you do that with, for some reason, makes the assumption that y'all getting it in, please don't act like you don't know that we live in the world. Okay? Why are you talking like that? It's so disrespectful. Shut up. Knew what it was. It's disrespectful for you to be out here calling me at 2 a.m, wanting to go look at the water and shit. Can't even see nothing. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm moving it on. We're almost there. Almost there, because I am losing. Whew. All right. So we just got 2 more real quick. And this one it made the thumbnail. Sebastian, you know you're right. Sebastian put in the super chat, to be real, she probably is instigating that she was down the ride. And then when it comes time to put up or shut up, she's like, nah. And that's what I'm saying. The guy was honest. He wasn't dangerous. He didn't kick her out in the middle of the street, leave her out in the middle of nowhere at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He took her home. And that's all you can ask for. The gentleman had wants and needs. You said you weren't going to meet those wants and needs, so he doesn't have to do nothing else for you. You're not his wife. Nothing. You were supposed to be a hookup. Then you're not hooking up. It's on you. But you get to go home. You don't get to hang out and watch and look at the water and shit all night. So anyway, let me get you to my main story here. Because I've been following this one for a couple of days. I don't know if you guys know who Mark Sanchez is. Mark Sanchez is a former pro NFL quarterback turned football commentator. And he recently was involved in a stabbing. Okay, I'm saying the word. I know YouTube doesn't like all that. But he was involved in a stabbing. Now, when I first heard the story, I assumed because he was a football dude.
New charges.
Hold on. Because he was a football dude, I assumed that he was like somebody was trying to rob him. Because that happens a lot when they got money. So I'm thinking somebody was trying to rob him. But apparently, that is not the case. Apparently, this gentleman was the perpetrator. And somebody hit him with a FAFO. And he ended up getting stabbed. He's still alive. Okay? Still alive. But I want y'all to see the story because I thought it was a robbery at first. It turned into something totally different. Check this out. All right, what we got here? What we got?
And new charges, along with a new lawsuit now filed against former NFL quarterback and Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez. Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaliyah Blackburn.
And I'm Howard Monroe. Bob and Chelsea are off tonight. Sanchez now faces a felony charge and a civil lawsuit for a fight that resulted in him being stabbed.
CBS 4's Russ McQuaid starts our team coverage tonight with an update on the criminal case.
In this case, the pictures tell the story, and slowly more visual images of the Mark Sanchez knife fight downtown are coming out and having an impact on how the prosecutor has charged the ex-NFL quarterback. New today, surveillance video obtained by the New York Post showing a blood-soaked Sanchez staggering up the 300 block of West Washington Street early Saturday morning after he was stabbed in this alley by a driver who said Sanchez attacked him because of where he parked his truck. "This guy is trying to kill me," the driver remembers thinking as he said Sanchez pummeled him as he lay on the ground wedged in between a dumpster and wooden pallets, and the man told police he, quote, struck Sanchez 2 or 3 times with a knife. The next thing the man knew was Mr. Sanchez looked at him with a look of shock. He slowly turned around, and Mr. Sanchez took off northbound in the alley.
So he hit him with the foot. He hit him with the foot real quick. And then Sanchez was like, oh, you weren't supposed to do that. So, okay. So he was fighting the guy over parking. That's what this said. It was a parking dispute.
Sanchez coming out of that alley and staggering for help. An investigator said he asked Sanchez what happened, and all he could remember was grabbing for a window. This is the window on Loft Miller's Pub and Eatery. Those are Sanchez's handprints, and this is the bartender who helped save his life.
Brought him inside, laid him down, and we called 911, put towels over the injuries that he had.
These are the other images from the weekend. The man who fought with Sanchez, hospitalized with a deep cut to the face, and his account that led to the prosecutor filing a felony against Sanchez.
I got to pause it real quick. I wonder if the people in the bar, when they realized it was Mark Sanchez, I wonder if somebody's like, hey, Mr. Sanchez, I know you're nursing a stab wound, but would you mind signing this for my kid brother? He's a big fan. Like, I'm sure there's some bloody towels or something around. Somebody's going to put that shit on eBay. This is the Mark Sanchez blood-soaked towel. And somebody's crazy ass is going to buy it. That's the worst part. All right, let's see what else.
Sanchez, quote, when asked to rate his pain on a scale of 10, the man stated it eventually reached a 10. Sanchez was in town to cover the Colts-Raiders game for Fox Sports, and now investigators will attempt to find out where he had been in the hours before the fight and with whom, and if he'd been drinking, because
Did we just hear that? If he had been drinking? Of course he was drinking. He was at a bar. He was at a bar. Why else are you going to the bar if you're not drinking? And Fox Sports is saying they didn't know where he was. So he disappeared, went out for a night on the town by himself, got into an altercation with the guy who apparently is like 70 years old. And he's a truck driver. So that's why he carries a blade. He's 70. He don't know when somebody's going to act out of line. He's going to have to hit him with the foot real quick. And Mark Sanchez messed around and found out. Messing with these old heads. Some of these old heads got blades still in their cheek. OGs from New York City and shit. And I believe he was in that area. So let me let it finish. But I'm just saying, I think he got what he deserved. I don't, because he's still alive, so there's that. But if you messing with older people, and if you saw the picture of the guy, he was pretty messed up. He had the neck brace on. He had a freaking $150 across his cheek. He got beat up in between pallets and dumpsters. And when you're getting beat up between pallets and dumpsters and all you see is trash and stuff like that around you, you don't want to go out like that. You almost took that old man out. So we're going to see where this goes. Let it finish.
The truck driver said, quote, Sanchez smelled of alcohol and his speech was slurred.
In a case like this, one of the things that you are considering is where people are coming from, where were people going, what were they doing. And then once individuals receive medical care, we're obviously very interested in what those medical records look like, because they can a lot of times give us greater insight into what was going on that day and potentially provide some information into an individual's state of mind.
Indiana is a constitutional carry state that gives wide latitude to self-defense and the use of guns if necessary to defend oneself, leaving Mark Sanchez fortunate he's still alive to fight for his life and his innocence in court.
We're lucky that no one's dead right now as a result of this incident that involved a knife. But certainly more people have guns, and we have to be mindful of that as we start and deal with conflict in our community.
Sanchez has engaged noted Indianapolis defense attorney James Voiles as his initial court hearing has been postponed, but he has a pretrial hearing in early November, and his status with Fox Sports is yet unresolved.
Okay, your status with Fox Sports is you're about to lose that job. If Shannon Sharp could lose his ESPN spot for paying for some cooter, you know, and it wasn't prostitution, it was standard cooter payments. You know, he was hitting the cooter, he was paying for other stuff. He got let go. But that's because, you know, whose cooter he was paying for just went along the lines of, you know, they didn't like that. But yeah, Sanchez is done. He's done. After I see the picture of that old guy had a $150 on his cheek. If you don't know what a $150 is, you can look it up. But he had a $150 on his cheek. He was in a neck brace. He looked way more messed up than Mark Sanchez. So he definitely was defending himself against possible unaliving. So Mark Sanchez didn't like where he parked. The guy's on a loading dock. That means he's in the alley behind the bar. Why does Mark Sanchez care about the loading dock behind the bar? He was just being a dick nugget, and he found out. Mr. Sanchez, they don't play like that in Indianapolis. The 70-year-olds carry blades, and they will use them if they think their lives are in danger. So if that story is 100% true of what they've alleged happened, I think we need to just be honest. Alcohol and angry, I don't know if Sanchez he's not really white. Well, at least his last name isn't. But these angry, privileged men, white or otherwise, thinking that they call the shots in the back alley while the loading dock, this guy's a loading guy, probably been doing the job 30, 40 years. He doesn't give a damn about Mark Sanchez. He got a load to drop off. And they're bothering this man. He almost lost his life. So I hope they sue Mark Sanchez for everything that he has, every little bit of change he might have left from that dismal NFL career that he had. And they only really gave him a lot of props because he was like a good-looking dude, and his last name was Sanchez. And you don't see the name Sanchez as a quarterback too often in the NFL. So it was kind of like an enigma. But now, your time is up, Mr. Sanchez. Your time is up. I'm not going to say he's going to go to jail, but he'll probably get more jail time than Diddy. We ain't going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Double check, make sure I didn't miss y'all in the chat here. Sorry, guys. Shouts to Sebastian Pelega again with the super chat. $5 super chat says, looks like a prime example of you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Yeah, he ranked number one in the win on that one. I bet he will never mess around with people on the loading dock again. I don't know if you ever worked anywhere that has a loading dock, but the people on the loading dock are normally the people you don't mess with. They're the ones that like hate their jobs the most. So if you get them, they got a load they need to deal with, and they got a time schedule. When you out there complaining about where the truck is parked and all that kind of shit, they're not trying to hear nothing you got to say. And Mark Sanchez found out. So if you're out there thinking you're privileged and you can tell everybody what to do wherever you go, you're not even from that city. You over there talking like you own the place. And you learned something that day. So hopefully that lesson carries on and you leave people the hell alone the next time that you're at the bar. Simple enough to. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get the last piece here, because I've been watching the shutdown. They're meeting on the Senate floor right now regarding it. Like literally at this moment. I don't believe that they've come to a full decision, but I did want to discuss one because there's been a lot of back and forth about American citizens, benefits that they get. And there was one particular program called the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children. The WIC program, a lot of people I know have been on the WIC program at some point. It's a temporary program. It doesn't last forever. It's not like welfare. You just keep signing up for it. Like it's a certain age that your kid is, and they just age out of it. I'd say it's probably about 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old, something like that. But they give you milk, cereal, juice, basics, cheese and shit, you know, like some basic stuff, bread. And you get a certain amount every month. And so the WIC program, to me, never seemed excessive. Food stamps at times, people getting $2,000 of food stamps, they got 3 kids, seems crazy to me. But the WIC program was like kind of fair. Like you get 2 gallons of milk and, you know, it was always a fair program from what I could see. So in the midst of the shutdown, somebody said, well, we're going to lose health care for illegal migrants, but we're also going to lose WIC. So, of course, America was like, no, we can't lose WIC. Who's going to feed the babies? And if you don't know what happened, I'll tell you what happened. Donald Trump decided to tout the idea that he would fund WIC from the tariff revenue. Now, the reason why, I'm going to tell you why this is so important, is 99% of people don't like the tariffs in some way, shape, or form. They might understand the long-term effects might be better, but the short-term effects are definitely harder on the pocket, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people don't like the tariffs. They either tolerate them because they understand them a certain way, or, you know, whatever their perspective is. But if the tariffs are funding WIC, then it's like you can't not like the tariffs now. It's like a 2-for-1. It's actually a really smart move. Because what are you going to say? We can't fund WIC unless we fund illegal migrants' health care. No, we can't put those two things together. We can't conflate the two. So as much as the Trump administration gets on my nerves, and it's because they got shit happening all over the place all the time, and you got to figure out what to pay attention to. It's almost like they got 10 versions of themselves going on at any point in time, and it's like, okay, what in this actually means something to me? Then you have to dig into that stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, him doing the whole WIC funding, it goes against the narrative of the fascist Nazi guy. And they don't want that. So I'm going to need everybody to go back into Congress. I'm over the shit or back into the Senate. I'm over the shutdown thing. Whatever this healthcare thing is, let me tell you what, most Americans that are citizens can't even afford their current healthcare. So if that's not what we're really talking about, I don't want to hear this shit no more. But you messed up. You know how you messed up? You messed up because you gave Donald Trump another win, or an apparent win, by having him pull from the tariff revenue that nobody was able to say what the tariffs were going to do. Well, guess what the tariffs did? Funded WIC. You don't want him to be popular, but you're making him popular by doing shit like that, guys. Just letting you know, that's going to resonate with some people. That's going to resonate with some people that probably didn't vote for Donald Trump. See what I'm saying? So if you don't want him to be popular, you got to stop putting him in positions to make these strategic ass moves that make him look good. For all intents and purposes, it makes the man look good. Because then you're not even saying, well, where's the tariff money going? We know it's going to feed women, infants, and children. How are you going to hate on that? See what I'm saying? It's the same thing like when he had the cancer baby. And nobody wanted to stand and clap for the cancer baby. They're like, because he's using the cancer baby to make himself look good. Maybe. But we can still clap for the cancer baby. Same thing with this WIC thing. He's using the tariffs and WIC to make himself look good. Probably. But that shit's working. Working. So I'm going to take you to the story real quick, and then we're getting out of here. But You don't want the man to be successful, so you do shit to try to make him unsuccessful, and then he flips it and makes it successful. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Nobody thought he was going to do that when y'all started talking about Wick. Guess what? Somebody did think he was going to do that. They already knew he was going to do that. This whole thing is political theater, and that's why I want you to pay attention. They all say they hate Donald Trump, but they do shit to make him look good. Like, you see what I'm saying? They're doing stuff that y'all don't see that makes his administration look like they're working on something. So if you don't want him to be popular, stop doing that. Jesus. Yo, I'm telling you right now, no reply. You can't hate on this way of doing it. The tariffs that people don't like, paying for the program that people do like. Can't beat that. So you're going to have to come a different way. Whoever doesn't like the shit, let's get the government back open up and just do it that way. Because if not, he will piecemeal little shit like Wick. And in the end, he'll have homeless people still getting health care and all this other stuff. And the migrants still won't get it. And he'll be helping out all these, the most meek of us all. And making himself look great, or at least his party look great for the next election. So I'm not saying what I feel or not. I'm warning people, if you don't want him to look good, you got to think these things through before you start protesting shit. You could have just left the government open. Nobody would have cared. They would have hated him the way that they hated him before. But now you got him funding women and infants and children programs from the tariffs. So when somebody said, well, what do the tariffs do for the regular American people? Here the fuck you have it. Thank you, government. So anyway, I got to get out of here. I really do. And I'm glad y'all hung out with me. Because it's tough. I've been sick for like 2 straight weeks and just been trying to push through it. But I'm going to tell you right now, that change of funding Wick just made the popularity of Donald Trump go up. So if you don't like him, you just took a step back. You didn't like him. But that's okay. This is all political theater. If you don't know, Marjorie Taylor Greene's been saying it to y'all for 2 weeks. Don't believe the hype. It's all theater. They're all working together. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's down there. And I don't even like her, but she's saying, yo, stop listening to the hype, guys. This is all for show. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, your life hasn't changed since the shutdown, but that's because it just started. You got to give it 2 weeks. You got to give people the chance to miss a paycheck. Then there'll be some changes. That's it. So, Sebastian Polega, one more super chat in there. You are definitely killing them with the super chat today. I guess it must have been payday or something over there. You're feeling good. Love your generosity. But Sebastian says, I want to know why Congress hasn't passed the Dignity Act of 2025. That would shut up a lot of people hating on the deportation issue. Off topic. Yes, it is. But you had to throw it in there. But that's what I'm saying. It's all theater. It's all to get you riled up and have you in the street fighting against, ICE and shit like that. I'm not fighting against ICE. I'm not going out there. I don't care what nobody says. I'm not going out there. That would be like me going and fighting against the police at the police station down the street because I just don't like police. I would get shot. I would be no more. So if you're out there screwing with ICE, you're lucky they're not shooting you and taking you out. I think, look, you got to deal with this with the pen and not the sword. You're not going to stop these guys with body armor on and big-ass Suburbans and guns and all that with, a couple of rocks and a hijab on. Like, you're not going to win that. So instead of putting yourself in a situation where you possibly get hurt or unalive, find another way. Because every time y'all do that, it gives Donald Trump a reason to send some damn extra people to go deal with y'all. And what do you think the extra people going to do? They don't want to be there. So they're going to be problem solving quick. Come out there with that bullshit. Stop. If you want to go protest something, hey, that's your right. But all this fighting ICE agents and all that, man, stop. You're going to get yourself hurt. Now, if you believe in it that much, I get it. But I don't want to see nobody get hurt over that. You can't stop these guys. They're doing their job. If they don't take that person, they lose their job and they can't take care of their family. So if you're worried about people being deported, find people that you know could be deported and make sure their paperwork is straight. That's the best you can do. You ain't going to stop shit. That right now. So anyway. Let me give my shout outs. Let me get up out of here. What we got here? Of course, no reply in the chat. Thank you so much. Gong is for you. No reply is the resident fact checker over here, who I do appreciate very much. Jay Coleman managed to stop through 2 episodes in a row, Jay Coleman. Good job. All right. And who else we got in here? Who else is chatterboxing with me? Of course, we got my man Al Bond. We had IMZ was in there. And we had, of course, the sponsor of the episode here, Sebastian Palega, who was super chatting like crazy. I appreciate it. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody else. I don't believe I did. Hope I did not. But if I did, like I said, I'm not sure if we're going to do a Saturday show, but if we do, it's not going to be the regular panel show because I'm not going to be in the studio this weekend. I'm going to be hanging out with family. And if I decide to go live from the beach or something, maybe I will, or maybe I won't. But that's a reminder to let you know that don't forget to live your life, okay? Live your life. Don't live the life that somebody else wants you to live. Live your life. That way, when you get to the end of it, you can be happy with what you did. Instead of saying, oh my God, I wasted all this time being angry at causes that meant nothing to me, fighting for people who didn't care about me in the first place. Just live your life, all right? And special shouts to IMZ, the lovely IMZ. Thank you so much for being patient with me, because I'll be forgetting something. I know you're on every episode, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. So, guys, I'm gonna let y'all know right now. The next 2 days is gonna be a whole bunch of goofiness in the news. Do your best to avoid the goofiness. Pick through some of the fat. Hopefully they'll get the government reopened so we don't have to keep talking about that shit. Because if not, that'll keep occupying the news cycle until it's done. And that thing could go on for a month or two. So I'm over it. Guys, let's go sign something. Get it moving. I know everybody's not going to be happy. But not having hundreds of thousands of American people not having their job is very important. It's very important. If this thing is really about immigrant health care, we shouldn't be putting immigrant health care above hundreds of thousands of American workers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking away from the immigrants or any of their health care. What I'm saying is, if that's the real issue here, and that's what it's all coming, that's the crux of the problem, and we're going to keep hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are American citizens from getting a paycheck, yeah, y'all got to work that out. That's goofy as hell to me. Doesn't make no sense. But anyway, guys, you know what I say. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And if you're part of the problem, then that, my friends, is and will always be the bullshit. Peace. Yes, yes, and yes. Hold up, I forgot to give a shout to Jay Coleman. Jay Coleman special shouts. Appreciate you, bro.